If you guys are trying to take your training to the next level and you want to increase your speed, your power, your conditioning, then you got to check out Phil Daru's 8-week heavy hitter boxing program. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no joke.
Hi, I'm Angie and you're watching Dante's Boxing.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the truth continues to break free. And I'm talking about some serious truth. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip and then I'm gonna unpack everything. But before I do, let me go ahead and sum everything up. So Barbershop Conversations, he did an interview with Cameron Dunkin, someone who's very close to Top Rank. And he revealed an extraordinary revelation when it comes to Top Rank. Credit to Barbershop for asking the question. Let me go ahead and play this clip and I'll be right back.
Ask Cameron Dunkin, do Top Rank have like columns of fighters? And they say, we don't want this guy fighting the black fighter. We don't want this fighter fighting the Mexican fighter, and so on and so forth.
You're going to get into the racial stuff, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm asking.
That's a theory there by the greatest matchmaker, probably, in my opinion, ever.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to mention his name either, but you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
And he used to have a thing up on his board, NBF, no black fighters.
Uh-huh.
And when I was taught to bring up a fighter, you know, and again, it's just, he used to say to me, you can go anywhere in the country. And I'm going to leave it at this. I don't want to go into a long discussion because people are people in God's eyes and we're all the same. He used to say to me, you can go anywhere into a city in America or anywhere in the world and ask a white guy, and he didn't say any other, he didn't say anything about Hispanic, anything. Ask a white guy to throw a jab, and half of them are going to turn backwards and throw it like a girl and everything. Ask any black man on a street corner in any city in the world, and they will snap out a jab in a heartbeat. And I used to laugh. He said, they're just more physically gifted. And he said, and so they have speed and better to stay away from them. Nothing personal. So I said, okay. And I've lived by that. And, you know, I don't want to sound like some weird guy, but, you know, you're trying to be safe with your guys. And so, yeah, there is a thing about that, you know, but not in a bad way, in a very respectful way, you know, to be careful. So that's all.
So there it is right there. Now, the first thing I want to say in response is, doesn't what this man just revealed, doesn't it sound like the black murderer's row that you guys always hear me talk about? And just in case you're a new subscriber and you haven't heard me talk about the black murderer's row and you never heard of it, just go ahead and Google the black murderer's row in boxing to learn who these fighters were on the black murderer's row. Once again, credit to Barbershop for asking the question and getting one of the most revealing things I've ever heard someone, especially someone who's not even black and this relevant in the sport of boxing, admit the obvious. Now, this is obviously not to suggest that there's no other gifted, talented fighters that are not black, but it's important to point out that he specifically said the Top Rank matchmaker had a thing on the board that said NBF, no black fighters. And he specifically said no black fighters. He didn't say no Mexican fighters, no Filipino fighters. He said no black fighters. And then he said, because they're too damn physically gifted. If you guys recall, I did an interview with Freddie Roach before Manny Pacquiao fought Floyd Mayweather. In that roundtable interview, not only did Freddie Roach clear up and admit that it was his own fighter's fault that the Floyd Mayweather fight never happened when it was first negotiated in 2008. But then in the same interview, he also admitted, he said that he believed that Bob Arum had always wanted Floyd Mayweather to be Manny Pacquiao's very last fight of his career. Think about what does that sound like? What does that imply, guys? That implies that Bob Arum, he felt that his fighter was most likely going to lose to Floyd Mayweather. So let's try to make as much money as we can out of this fighter before he ends up losing to Floyd Mayweather. That's what it sounds like, right? I truly believe that's the case. I truly believe deep down, Bob Arum, because he's been around boxing so long, he's seen so many extremely black gifted fighters. He knew that Floyd Mayweather had a very, very, very good chance of beating Manny Pacquiao. But it wasn't only Bob Arum, even Freddie Roach. Matter of fact, Freddie Roach, of course, he would never admit this, but if you listen to some of the interviews that Freddie Roach did leading up to the Floyd Mayweather fight, the interviews suggested and implied that he thought that Floyd Mayweather was going to beat his fighter. I remember when the fight was first announced, the first thing that Freddie Roach said was, this is going to be a very difficult fight. Floyd Mayweather, he doesn't really make a lot of mistakes. He's a very good fighter, so this is going to be a very difficult fight. That was the first thing Freddie Roach said about the fight. And then you even have the fighter himself, Manny Pacquiao, who said after he lost to Floyd Mayweather that he had a dream 2 months before the fight that he had lost to Floyd Mayweather. So it seems like all the way from the promoter to the trainer to even Manny Pacquiao, they did not have all the confidence in the world that they were going to win that fight. But going back to what Top Rank's matchmaker said, you guys have to understand something. Deep down, this is the reason why Canelo Alvarez does not want to fight Demetrius Andrade, why he does not want to fight Jamal Charlo, because of the natural athleticism. And the truth is, these Canelo Alvarez fans, they feel the same way that matchmaker feels. They feel the same way about the Charlos, about Demetrius Andrade, but they're obviously not going to say that because this is about pride and it's about race. So there's no way they can say something like that. That's way too much truth. And that's the type of truth that stings. We all know that Canelo Alvarez, he's the type of fighter that looks for opponents that he knows he has at least a 75%, and I'm being generous, at least a 75% chance of winning. But credit to Canelo, every once in a while, maybe every 2-3 years, he'll fight someone that has maybe a 40% chance of winning. Or maybe when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, a 50% chance of winning. And even Danny Jacobs, because that was a 50-50 fight going in. But for the most part, 8 times out of 10, Canelo Alvarez, he's fighting someone that he knows he has a 70, 80, 90% chance, 100% chance of beating. So if he felt that he knew that Andrade, Charlo, those were guaranteed wins, Canelo Alvarez would have took those fights as quick as he tried to take the Sergey Kovalev fight. He would have took those fights as quick as he took the Rocky Fielding fight, the Amir Khan fight, the Liam Smith fight, the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, right? And the list goes on and on and on. If you're going to entertain the idea of fighting a guy by the name of Yildirim, someone that no one has even heard of, why would you not fight Charlo? And if we're to listen to the Canelo Alvarez fans when they say the Charlo brothers, they don't deserve to fight Canelo Alvarez, you guys are making Canelo look even worse by saying that when you know that Canelo is trying to fight a Yildirim. No matter how you try to defend Canelo, all you do is make him look worse. If you really wanted to defend Canelo Alvarez, or you really truly believe that Canelo Alvarez, he beats these fighters that he's avoiding, then why aren't you guys going to his social media accounts to tell him to fight Demetrius Andrade, fight Jamal Charlo? Because Canelo, you would beat them easy. Why aren't you guys telling Canelo that? You know why you're not telling Canelo that? Because you don't want him to fight those guys. Because deep down, you feel the same way about those fighters that this top-ranked matchmaker feels about black fighters in general. It's no secret. The most avoided fighters in the history of boxing have been black fighters. That's not up for debate, guys. That is a given fact. Even before the black murderers row, and when I say they're the most avoided, I'm not just talking about by non-black fighters, I'm talking about even by other black fighters. From the beginning, from the inception of this sport, you go all the way back to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was avoiding black heavyweights. Black fighters have always been the most avoided, and Top Rank just told you why. Now, once again, guys, obviously you have talented, gifted fighters of all nationalities. But the facts will always remain that the most avoided fighters have always been black fighters. And you heard Cameron Dunkin in that piece I just played. He admitted that he was taught by Top Rank's own matchmaker. As a boxing promoter, he was taught to do the same thing. Try to avoid black fighters. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. What's going on, guys? You know, I've always wanted to find a second source of income. And I've always wanted to learn about stocks and trades because I've heard so much good stuff about it. So I finally found a way to do it. And now I'm learning from 6, 7, 8-figure traders. So not only am I learning from them, but the most important thing is I get to copy their trade. So I get to earn while I learn. Now, if you want the full details, click on the link below so you can learn while you copy and paste their trades. And just understand this, guys, just by watching the video, you're doing a great job of supporting my channel, and I appreciate it. And the craziest thing about doing this trading is you can do it anywhere. All you need is an internet connection, and you can do it just with your phone. So if you want to learn how to make a second income alongside me without having to pitch, sell, or recruit, go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll see you inside.
Are you ready to take your striking game to the next level? Then you've got to get the Focus Ball. Dramatically improve footwork, timing, reflex, hand-eye coordination, head movement, and striking IQ. Lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere with the Focus Ball.